Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the world of home tech with me, your host, Paul Hibbert, and welcome to these tiny little LP discs. These are not LP discs, these are Audiocasts. These are basically like your Bluetooth audio streamers, but they're marketed towards two things. One, audiphiles, which is still a weird word, whichever way you slice it. And two, people who want to be able to mirror audio in more than one room. So if you're at a house party and you want to hear the same song in the living room as in the dining room, these are the things to do it with. And because they're Wi-Fi rather than Bluetooth, supposedly the audio is better. Is that true? Let's find out. So I have no idea what these are, but there are two of them, so I'm twice as excited. So got some plastic wrapping on it, which makes it really shiny. And I love shiny things, so that's always good. Cast all your music to your speakers wirelessly. So these are, I'm informed, similar to Chromecast in some way, in that you can cast from your mobile phone to these things, and the quality is supposed to be like lossless. It's supposed to be perfect. So they're like wireless connections for your speakers, but rather than going the Bluetooth route, they've apparently gone the Wi-Fi route. So cast all your music to your speakers wirelessly, control from your phone. Just install Audiocast app, choose the device to stream. Perhaps I should put this in camera. Listen on speakers, plug in your aux inputs and enjoy crisp, high-quality sound delivered over Wi-Fi. So I don't know if I need two of these for it actually to work is entirely possible. So it looks like an LP disc, but it's thicker, and it's got a stereo plug socket on it, and like a rubber base, so it doesn't make too much noise when you put it on things. And it just says Audiocast on the back. So, that's that. What else is in here? Because I think I plug something into this one and then plug the other thing into the speakers. So what is this thing then? Well, the idea is that if you've got some speakers in your kitchen and you've got some speakers in your dining room, you can plug an Audiocast into the auxiliary inputs of each of those speakers and then be able to transfer audio from any device which is capable of transferring audio. That can be Android devices, iOS devices, even things like DLNA servers. Pretty much anything with a computer that can do streaming of audio can send audio to these Audiocasts, and in turn the Audiocasts can blast that sound out your speakers. Okay, so I've already installed the Audiocast app on my phone, so I'm going to launch that. And I've already paired the two devices. You just follow the instructions to do that. It's dead easy. So you can see it's found the two devices there. One is called kitchen, one is called dining room. I've labelled them those things because they used to be just a bunch of letters and numbers. And it makes sense because one set of those speakers is normally in the kitchen, the other one's normally in the dining room, and they're in the music room right now just for testing purposes. So if I go to the left-hand panel here, if I swipe across, I can pick my music from any of these things. There's a whole bunch to choose from. I'm just going to choose my music for now. My music, I can just choose stuff that's on the phone directly. So I'm going to try that one. And this is my pseudonym Sprocket. This is music that I happen to own the copyrights to because I am Sprocket. I would have used my band, but my band doesn't have any quality music at the moment recorded. By quality, I don't mean talent-wise, because neither me or my band is talented. But yeah, this is Sprocket anyway. You can find me on Spotify, not plugging myself or anything. And you can see that's just playing on the kitchen speaker. If I want it to play on both speakers, which is kind of the whole point of this, I can drag the dining room to the kitchen. It should start playing on both speakers. So it's telling me it's been successful. I'm not hearing any difference yet. Let's try turning the dining room up. Oh yes, it is playing on both sets of speakers. That's cool. So they are entirely independent, of course. I can turn the volume up in the dining room or turn the volume up in the kitchen. And that works great, and if I want to unpair them I can just grab it and drag it below that line and it will go back into solo mode and only play in the kitchen. So anything below the line is kind of off basically, and anything above the line is paired if you join them all up together. I could unpair the dining room and now it's not playing out of the dining room anymore, it's just playing out of the kitchen. And I can now choose the dining room and choose a different song if I want to. There you go. So twice the horrendousness. Let's stop that. And stop that. So you can see they can be operated entirely independently. So basically this is a party situation really. If you wanted to have different music in different rooms you could do, and if you wanted to sync your music you could do. The advantage of course to this over Bluetooth is, first of all, obviously the app gives you a lot of control there to be able to do all that stuff. But of course the major draw for this is the quality. Let's go through a few of the other things you've got. So you can add songs to favorites, which is kind of handy. You can't add radio stations to favorites, which sucks. I've told them it sucks, and they've said that they're going to get right on that. And get right on that, they mean, yeah, whenever we feel like it, I'm sure. You've got all of these different FM type things. I know iHeartRadio is usually quite popular, so let's just give that a go. So that's awesome. That's just playing straight away through the phone. And it's of course playing on the kitchen speakers and the dining room speakers. Spotify, I can confirm, works because I have a Spotify account. Okay, and so from Spotify I can just search for Sprocket because he's good, or at least royalty free for me. So, as you can hear, that's playing through my phone at the moment. So I need to go to available devices, and I can choose kitchen. And there we go, that's now playing out of those speakers. So LineIn does nothing on this, which sucks. They have another device, which is their premium device, which they should have sent me instead of these devices, if you ask me. And that LineIn would allow you to plug something into its input jack and then stream it around the network to all of your speakers in the house. Now that would have been super useful for this review because I could have plugged Alexa into it. Audiocast, perhaps you should have sent me that device, and then I would be able to sell your product much easier. But yeah, I shall link both in the description because I know that a lot of the Alexa fans are going to think that is a useful thing. Cool, let's get on with testing the quality of this device. So what we've got here then for the uninitiated is 3 separate tracks. One is the Audiocast doing its business. One is the Bluetooth device that I've got for comparison, and the final one is the original waveform playing directly through the PC. So this is literally perfect because I encoded it myself. This is being encoded over Wi-Fi, and this is being encoded over Bluetooth. And you'll see physically there's not a great deal of difference between them. So I'm going to literally listen to them, so you guys will need a decent set of headphones or a decent set of speakers. So first of all is the original wave file. And then we'll listen to Audiocast. In all honesty, I can't hear a difference. Bluetooth. So I mixed this song myself, so I've literally listened to it thousands upon thousands of times as I was mixing and mastering it, and I've got to be honest with you, I can't hear a difference. I'm sure there are going to be a whole bunch of nerds on YouTube going, of course there's a difference, I can hear it, you just don't have a very good ear. But neither do most people, and my ear is pretty reasonable after a good few years of practice now at mixing. So if my ear can't hear it, most people's won't either. But you can see some evidence of it. So I have balanced these very, very, very carefully so that they are all the same volume. And what I've noticed is the Bluetooth volume sometimes clips even though in other places it is quieter than the other two tracks. I can't see any real difference in the top end, which I expected. I thought we would lose a bit of the frequency up here, but it's still bouncing around. I think we're losing the tiniest bit off the very end. But again, I mean, that's just my eyesight. I think what I'll do is I shall screen capture them and see exactly what we're losing. But that's the only real difference I can see, is there must be some distortion in places, despite the fact in other places it's quieter. So, is the difference enough to matter? To those of you who are obsessed with audio, yes, it is. To those of you who are not hugely bothered, no, it isn't. If you're buying this thing because you think it's going to be better audio quality than Bluetooth, you might find that you're just tricking yourself. You might be a major audio buff with better hearing than me. You might be me and just like the idea that I'm getting slightly better quality than everybody else. But Bluetooth really isn't as bad as people like to make out. I'm sure you can hear for yourself there is not a great deal of difference. It's practically inaudible. What I think I can see physically is some clear distortion. I think this little bump here that's all squared off is a little bit of distortion being introduced by the Bluetooth that isn't there in the original waveform. I think you can see a similar thing in Audiocast. It's a smaller bump, so I think there is probably less distortion. There is very little difference further up. There's a little bit of an increase in some of the high ends. So these are things like cymbals and the very S's in your voice. Those sorts of noises are all up this end. You can't see a great deal of difference in the mids. I think the reproduction is excellent. Bluetooth-wise, a little bit lower in places, a little bit higher in others. I think there is more of a difference. But I don't think it's that big a difference, and that's why I don't think it's particularly audible. This product is good, but I don't think it makes a massive difference to the audio. If you're a big audio buff and you're looking for something that is slightly better than Bluetooth, maybe you found it. This, I think, works great. On the other hand, you're probably looking at the cables that came in the box and thinking, they're not gold-plated, and because if you're into that sort of thing, then, I don't know, get some gold-plated cables. You'll probably find the internal mechanisms of the unit aren't gold-plated either, though. So if you're going down that road, you're probably going to be disappointed. Maybe you'll always be disappointed. If you're that kind of person, you probably are. Please don't bash me in the comments. I won't be listening. I'll be sleeping and ignoring you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of this guy, hit that subscribe button. And as usual, I'll see you next time. Tiny little Wi-Fi discs. These are the same thing, but by Wi-Fi. And I'm num. Audiocast. Yep. That you can stream from there.
This is the dance of the robot.